Today's video features the return of Leyton House. Now, might need to explain this one to you for those of you who are not familiar with Leyton House. Leyton House entered F1 in 1990-1991. Now, this is their livery as well, with that turquoise. You notice a bit of green and a bit of white on there as well, but it's majority that turquoise colour, blue colour, which is what I've done to create this livery as well. They only had two real sponsors, and I should point out, BP and what was car glass back then is now auto glass in the UK. So I've put those on the teams, and then I've just literally made all the other sponsors up based on other ones from other either other sponsors that have recently left F1. The Ferrari Trento logo's on there because obviously F1 has got a new champagne sponsor, so you won't see the Ferrari champagne on the podium anymore. It will be Moet and Chandon, which used to sponsor McLaren when they had two sponsors, not like that. Also note that ABBA are on there. That's just purely a throwback to when one of the drummers in ABBA actually raced in F1 back in the early 80s. But Leyton House, anyway, I got a bit sidetracked, apologies about that. Leyton House, they were 1990 and 1991. Basically, it was like Alfa Romeo, because Leyton House were actually what the March team were called in 1990 and 1991, before reverting after Leyton House left Formula 1 after 1991, and March soon followed with a lack of money, as usual in those days in the early 1990s as well. But you might be wondering why this particular livery. I mean, they weren't in F1 very long. Why have I chosen this? And there's a good reason. Adrian Newey. Yes, Leyton House were the first team to give Adrian Newey a job. Yes, this was the first team he ever worked for back in 1990 and 1991. I mean, the car wasn't that great at that particular time, and there wasn't a lot of money, being the early 1990s, where a lot of the smaller teams, it was just about survival, really. I mean, a lot of them didn't survive as well. I should point out then, back to the livery. So yes, I've pretty much mentioned the sponsors. The only thing that I'm slightly annoyed with is, you may notice, of course, on the front wing there's a Leyton House logo that's in black. There's also that's the same Leyton House logo that's on the side part. I can't do anything about that. This actually came out better than I was expecting. I didn't know what I was expecting. I've not come in with the green BP stuff that was on the original, and I've not included the white, but I have made it turquoise and black. I think it looks a lot better. If I was trying the green or the white, I think it would ruin the livery. That's my personal opinion. But please do let me know what you think in the comments below. This is the final episode of the F124 fans liveries, but our fans liveries will return on 2025. And depending on how this one goes and how you guys like it or dislike it, I might do a few more of these old F1 teams and bring them back. So if you've got any bit that you particularly want to see, now's the time to let me know in the comments below. And as we always do in this series, we're going to have a race around Silverstone. It seems that I've picked Silverstone way too many times in this series, so that's a reminder for me to vary it up when F125's fantasy liveries come out. Again, if you've got any suggestions for F125 from the ones you've seen here or other ones that I didn't include, let me know in the comments below as well, please. Yes, here we are down the grid, P11 for Alonso as well. This is the series finale as well, but because the race, I did want to do a 50% race, but the racing is so poor in F124. I mean, it is boring. I'd have probably fallen asleep, to be honest, trying to record it. So it is just a normal 35% race. 5 red lights then for the British Grand Prix for the final time on F124 Fancy Liveries, and away we go. It's a good start. Everyone seems to be on sauce. Stroll's had a very good start as well, and I had to lift off as well. Albon in the blue and yellow Williams as well. Shame I didn't get that livery, by the way. I do love what they did. Not so much with their livery earlier, as well as sending it around the outside now. I think that's Daniel Ricciardo. Not able to get Ricciardo, that's annoying. We're up to P9. Up at the front then, it's Carlos Sainz, the man that was out on this particular track earlier today. In the Williams, though, he leads from Oscar Piastri, Leclerc's third, and Norris is, I think, no, it's not Norris, it's Verstappen, it's four. I did switch the McLaren back to its red and white livery just to see as well what it's looked like down the inside here. Daniel Ricciardo, that's a simple textbook move here at Silverstone, up to P8 now, so making a bit of progress, but that's when the progress will end, and Ricciardo's going to come back. Russell's having one of his miserable races. I mean, he's actually going to follow me through. We'll get a replay on board with Russell. He has the double slipstream, and Ricciardo's just going to move to the outside. Obviously, then Ricciardo gets his car unsettled, and then just goes way too wide. Russell says thank you very much and goes into that gap. Russell's now going to have a go at me. I don't particularly want to let Russell pass as well. I've given him as much room. He's got the outside as well. I just don't want to really go side by side everywhere. But he's still there on the outside, trying to squeeze him, and there's a bit of contact there. Now he's off circuit. Where is he going? He's come back off on circuit, and he's ahead. I'm pretty sure this is an illegal overtake. Let me know what you think of it. There's a bit of sparks flying. He just then decides, oh yeah, I'll just extend. I'm pretty sure if the player did that, if any player did that, they would get a move. So there's Russell. He's overtaken, off track. Yeah, I think that's an illegal overtake. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to get Russell back instantly anyway, and give him the barge out for good measure as well. Back up to P8 there, I think it is. As well, there's a replay of this. You know, I don't. This is just this is just the AI having no spatial awareness of where everyone is, which does happen on the F1 game as well. Now, I don't particularly want Russell to come back past. There's a bit of weaving. Ricciardo's now come to join the fun. I'm just going to go keep it through on down the middle. Lucky not to get any contact there as well. But Ricciardo, I think, has got in front of Russell there. He has. So I'd rather have Ricciardo than Russell in front. Not just because of the tactics, but the car. The Cadillac is not as good. Up at the front then, it's still Carlos Sainz who leads then from Oscar Piastri. There's the usual F124 DRS train that has formed there. So jump to lap 9 into the pits then for what is quite remarkably one of the most agonising pit lanes of all time, based on how slow it is. 2.4, that's not too bad as well. Where is we're going to figure out? It's going to be P9. Make that P10 because there is that Norris. Piastri's had a shocker. He's fallen by. That's a shocking pit stop for Piastri and McLaren. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But look at behind. Lance Stroll is the man behind us. He hit the lap before, and the undercut seems to be really powerful. So he is now behind, and then also behind him is Alex Albon. Hulkenberg's there as well, and George Russell's behind all of them. I think Ricciardo's doing an extra lap, and this is. And remember, Piastri and Sainz were 1-2. They're now all the way down at the back of the train in 6th and 7th place, and up at the front. Get 3 guesses who's leading. Yeah, that's right, it's Max Verstappen. On the F124, they've not heard of the game. They haven't heard of real life, where Verstappen wasn't able to, carry that car, and it's obviously carrying that, dominating here. As watching Albon there, briefly had a go at Stroll, but nothing doing there for the Williams driver as well. But Yeah, Norris has got in front of Verstappen, but isn't pulling away. So this is not over yet for the race win. It's just probably over for Sainz and Piastri, who were 1-2, unless Albon having a go at Stroll once again. This time he's on the inside. It looks, unless no, Stroll can't go through, and Albon's up to P10. Time for my fastest lap. We're watching Lance Stroll, our teammate for this episode, and he's not able to get back past Alex Albon. But the good for Lance is, although I was about to say good for Lance that Albon's not getting away, but that is Lance out of the race with an engine failure. Fortunate for him. Someone else who's having a few engine issues is Oscar Piastri. The McLaren with its Mercedes-powered engine. I've not changed the engine for this episode. Which I could have done because Leyton House never raced with Mercedes engines, but nevertheless I am past Piastri. A simple move with DRS. Piastri there will be, unfortunately, even Sainz has lost a bit of time too to the leading pack there. So yes, it was that's just a textbook DRS move to get past the red and white McLaren of Oscar Piastri. Now up at the front, look at this. Verstappen did have the lead again, but DRS, and now will it be Hamilton or Norris side by side through to this is on the final lap as well, and Norris will supercross, and it'll be Lando Norris who wins and brings home a British 1-2 as well. I'm going to come around for P7, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's points. It wouldn't have been points back in 1990 and 1991, being the fact they only had points down to 6th place. But nevertheless, it is points today, and I would probably take that. Piastri probably disappointed. As for Ricciardo and Tsunoda, they started 8th and 9th, and 10th and 14th for the Cadillac team. Not very good. As well, the overcut there, Hulkenberg actually lost out in the end to Ricciardo and Russell. Stroll unfortunately failed miserably. His engine failed miserably, excuse me. He was actually having a good time racing Albon for what would have been P9 and P10, so I don't think that's too bad of a showing for Leyton House on their return to F1. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to leave it today's video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and you see plenty more F1 fancy liveries when F1 25 comes out. If you've got a livery that, again, as I said earlier, if you've got a livery that you want to see on F1 25, please let me know in the comments below as well. F1 25 mod as well is coming soon. All the liveries are being revealed Tuesday. The Williams livery that we saw earlier today, that's not their real livery as well. And to be honest, I hope that they resize that Atlassian logo, because it was off. It was gopping. if I think is the correct word. Or yeah, it's just unnecessarily large, excuse me, compared to the other sponsors on the car, and the numbers like really tiny. So I'm hoping they do improve that as well. We'll be having a tier list video next Friday as well to go through, and I'll rank my tier list based on what I think on all 10 teams. So yeah, a few things to come on the channel in the future, but until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thank you so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.